What's up everybody, this is Gunter Severloh. This is version 1.5 of my new World War II APCs, tanks, and vehicles. Let's go to the editor and we're going to go to virtual reality. Alright guys, we are now in the editor. As you can see, the composition has grown. So let's play the mission. And I'm going to go to Spectator to review some of the stuff that was done. We have 9 new APCs and tanks. Starting off with this one, we have a Panzer IV with a Nebelwerfer attachment. One issue with this is that I could not remove the wheels or the stands on the Nebelwerfer, so I couldn't put them on kind of like a SDKFZ, kind of like a half track like this, because the stands would stick out of the side and it just didn't look good. So I had to make this instead and kind of basically make it blend in and look good. It still works regardless, but I'll show you once we get to it. The next is the M3A1. This is a howitzer motor carriage. This is something that the US forces used in World War II. And here we have a Stu 42. This was kind of tricky to build in terms of trying to make it look like a Stu. Here we have a Panther, Flak Vierling 38 combination. Here we have a EVGA Panther with the attached Flak 38. And here we have these are artillery and anti-air. This is called the Grill 10 88, and I'll show you a picture of what this looked like in real life and kind of like a model of it, what I was attempting to do and why it looks like it does. So we have an artillery version and we have an anti-air version. This is like a flak panzer. Kind of like a combination of a whirlwind, but this is like an early version before the whirlwind came about. I think this is considered a prototype. And then we have a EVGA Panther Flak 38. And this was used more of a support role, and I'll show you a picture of that. Alright, so let's get in game and show you how these things work. So here we have the Panzer IV with the attached Nebelwerfer. So from here you can get into the vehicle itself, drive it around if you want, and you can get into the Nebelwerfer. Once you're in the Nebelwerfer, you won't see your body, and this is artillery vehicles, so you're basically going to launch rockets with this. So when you get out of the Nebelwerfer, you'll be returned to the vehicle and you can go back as driver or you can get out. So I've set that up like some of these other vehicles. Yeah, those are going to land over there soon. Here we have the US APC, and this is a howitzer. Here they are. Alright, here we have the APC. I'm going to close the hatches. Now the design for this, the whole front end was usually not there. The gun was built around it, so there's only so much you could do with this, but it works regardless. From here you can get into the howitzer. get out, you'll be basically returned to the thing, and from there you can go to driver's seat or the gunner seat. And normally on this particular vehicle, they had a gun that was facing the rear, so I figured I'd leave it as it is. So that's just the way it was. And of course you exit like normal. Alright, the next vehicle is the Stu 42. This is basically a Sturmgeschütz 3, but it was designed more of an artillery type of tank, kind of a infantry support. You can get into the AT gun. You're not going to really see yourself, but you'll have sights. And this is basically a Stug without the attached gun, and then I just took the turret and put it on it. Now we have another thing in here. If you look at the action menu, you can see you can get into the AT gun, which we just shot, or you can get into the MG34. So I've attached the MG34 to this, which was realistic for this vehicle, and kind of put up some armored sights the best I could. So the gun does work. There's nothing obstructing you on this one. So when you get out of this, you'll basically be returned to the tank itself, and then you get out and everything's back to normal. Here we have a Panther with a Flak Vierling 38 variant, and you can get in as the driver or you can get in as the Flak Vierling gunner itself. And here you'll be seeing I removed the 2 seats on the side, so it's only 1 gunner. And then when you get out, you'll be returned to the vehicle, and you could choose to be the driver or whatever you want. Alright, here we have a EVGA Panther, and these were mainly for salvaging tanks off the battlefield, and this particular one had an attached Flak 38 to it. They usually had an MG42 to the left of it, but I figured with the Hull MG it's good enough to have that. So it's only so accurate, but that's kind of what it looked like. It was called a EVGA Panther. And from here you're basically just towing wrecks and stuff. So you could put this in a mission and attach a towing script to it, and you know, just tow vehicles and stuff. So here you can get into the driver's seat. It functions like a normal tank except without the turret, and all that's been locked so you can't get into it. There's no seat inside or anything, so it's not really designed for that. You can get into the Flak 38, but you won't see yourself as the gunner. I set that up so that you won't see it. And I also scaled the gun down because I don't think exactly that the gun that was attached to the EVGA Panther for the Flak 38 was an actual Flak 38. I think it was like a 20mm or some smaller gun. So what I did is I used the code to kind of shrink the gun down. You can kind of tell it is kind of small, but it still works. When you get out of this, you'll be returned to the vehicle, and you just go from there. So that's a EVGA Panther that you could tow things with. This is called the Grill 10. So I made 2 variants, and this was the Flak 36 AA, which is the anti-air variant, and then we have a Flak 36 artillery variant. So basically, it drives like a normal Panzer IV, because these guns were attached to the Panzer IV chassis. Now with this I set it up to be realistic to where you can't just switch to the gun from the driver's seat or anything like that, because it wasn't like that. Wasn't realistic like that. And so basically what you have to do is you come up to the corner here by the machine gunner seat, scroll your action menu, get in Flak 36 artillery as gunner, and you'll basically be in the 88. So from here, this is not a direct shooting gun. As you can see, my control is kind of limited. This is really artillery gun, so you go to the artillery computer for this and just set your sight on some target you want to hit. So when you do get out, you'll be returned to the vehicle, and then you'll be returned again. Now, the reason for the platform, you could take a look at the picture. That's the idea I was going for. But if you look underneath, the problem with this variant was that I couldn't remove the stands off of Flak 88, which was kind of disappointing. So when I looked at a picture that had these were walls that would fold down and acted like a platform for using you know, the ammo and stuff like that. So it's useful. It has its uses. Let's check out the next variant. This is the Flak 36 AA. This works the same way, and basically you just come up to the corner here, scroll your action menu, and get in as gunner. It's basically the same gun, but this is the anti-air version to where you could raise your sights. It's kind of slow if you ask me, but I didn't hide the body on this one for obvious reasons because it wasn't clipping anything. But when you do exit it, you will exit it back into the vehicle, and you can go to the driver's seat if you want. That's kind of the limits of that, and I try to make it realistic as possible, but these actually did exist. The next we have a Flak 38 variant. This is an earlier version before I think before the Whirlwind came about. So just like the other vehicles, this is a regular Panzer IV with a Flak 38 mounted onto it. And you can go to the Flak 38 from the inside. So you're kind of surrounded by these steel walls, but really you're really shooting outside of the walls. I might adjust that a little bit so it's not kind of clipping so much, but most of your targets are going to be about like that anyway. So I believe that these walls in real life did fold down so that they used it, but unfortunately we don't have that mechanic possible. So, but it works regardless. So and last but not least, we have a Panther variant with a Flak 38 attached to it. This was actually a 37mm Flak. This is a 3.7 centimeter Flak 37. That's what the idea was behind this. So you can get in the gun with this. Alright, so those are the new variants. I'm going to take you to something that I fixed. In the last video, I showed you It was the FLAC 38 for the half track. It had an issue where when you got into when you exited it, the guy was floating above the half track, didn't get out properly. So I fixed that so that the player now gets out properly, and that's fixed. And we have the motor. Motor works well now. And one more thing I want to show you guys is this. I'm going to show you a picture of this, what this looked like. This was kind of how the Germans set these up with the things folded down. So I kind of created it like that. I figured it'd be kind of more immersive. And then when you get into this thing, obviously you would lower the windshield. I was going to remove the windshield at first, but I figured it already has that function to lower it, so if you wanted to be realistic, then you could do that. So, and of course the gun works too. As for this part, there's nothing I can really do here, so I'm sorry about that. There's no way to fix it. So actually there was one more thing I wanted to show you guys, and this was on the Stug 3, and this one I adjusted the position of the gun so the guy moved forward a bit, so that fixes that. And then so that's basically it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy these new variants. More updates and more variants. Thanks for watching. I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.